Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dirt, Grain, and Steel. So on today's episode, what we're going to be doing is we're going to start making the rear for my feeder box for the trommel. We're going to make the rear back wall and the new slide gate to control the amount of dirt that leaves the feeder box so that the trommel doesn't get overwhelmed and have too much dirt running through it. So here I've got the old wall all cut out. It's all cut out, ready to go back in, except I gotta do some grinding to clean some stuff up. This is the old wall. As you can see, it's rusted through in spots, and the cast iron door slides were all broke and destroyed. So I cut the whole back wall out. It was bolted in. I cut all the bolts, broke them off, whatever it took to get them out. So the back wall's out. When I cut the back wall out, as you can see, the little I-beam still stuck on there. I had to re-support the grizzly bars somehow. So I ran square tubing from one side of the box to the other on these heavy uprights. So originally, this back wall of this box was about, out here. Well, now I'm moving it in because I don't need that much capacity because we're not spreading lime or fertilizer anymore. So by adding this square tube up here, I've added strength to the back of this box for lifting purposes and to hold the grizzly bars so nothing comes down on them hard and destroys anything. This tube is a lot heavier than what the back of the wall or what the back wall originally was. So by the time I get the 1/4 inch plate new back wall put in, all this tied together will be super strong. So this original wall is only like 3/16, not very thick at all. So we come in the shop. I have the 1/4 inch plate already on the forks of my John Deere 1025R. I had this plate sheared down to 42 inches because 48 was too much. So I had them shear that out. I brought the drop home. I've got to have them use it on another project. So I've made all my cut lines already. I've got the door. The door is going to be 1 inch wider on each side in order to catch the walls. We're going to put two pieces of flat plate stacked on each other to create the new door slides. And then this sidewinder jack I'm going to rebuild to make it raise and lower the door. So when you want less dirt, you crank the jack down, it lowers the door, you get less dirt. You want more, crank it up, picks the door up. You get what I'm talking about. So the way that I laid all this out was I just took my big speed square. I don't know where it went. It's here somewhere. But the angles of the speed square already matched the angles of the walls of the feeder box. So it was pretty easy. I just lined it up here with the door hole, projected the line up that way, lined it up here, projected the line up that way. Now when I get my plates on, I'm going to have to cut them at an angle to match this. And I'm going to have to cut the door at an angle to match this when it comes down. I might not make the door come all the way down. There's really no need for it to. I'll never have it shut that tight, but I might do it just to do it. So this jack, I'm going to have to cut this foot off and rework it. I might even have to cut this tube off and do something different here to get it closer to the back of the box. So anyways, I'm going to grab the Forney 20P plasma cutter and start cutting on this. Get this plate cut off, get these triangles cut off, and we might do a little bit of the cutting. I'm going to try it with the new Evolution cutoff saw that I just purchased. We might do a little cutting with that yet. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to be doing all the welding, or at least tacking it together tonight with the Easy Weld 140 MP Forney. And we'll see how far we get tonight. I don't know if we'll get this whole project done, or we'll just see, because it looks like it's going to storm. It'll probably rain us out of working outside. So I'm going to get started on this, and we'll see what happens. So please ignore the fan in the background. It's hot out today. I'm using the fan to stay cool in here. But anyways, I scored me a line and I started cutting this, and the Evolution saw is working awesome for cutting this out. Wish I would have bought these saws a long time ago. So I'm going to do a little cutting on video and show you how it works, and probably won't cut the whole thing out in video. I got my little stool down there holding it up. That corner's I work by myself. So I'm going to do a little cutting and show you how this saw works. Saw's working great. I'm going to keep using it to cut with it, I think. I kind of got a little off my line, pinched the blade just a hair, but it powered through it. So I'm going to keep cutting. I'm going to get this side cut off. So I got this side all cut off using the Evolution saw. Worked out great. Beautiful, nice, clean cut. So now I'm going to move on to this side, get this side cut, and then we're going to cut the door out, and we're going to see if Deere Junior here will pick it up and put it on the back of the spreader box, and we'll see how it fits. So I'm gonna get that side cut off and we'll get doing that. I don't know, I think I'm going to do the slides for the slide gate flat in here before I put it up there and just run them past and cut this angle on them. I think it'd be easier to do it laying on its face or on its back than it would be trying to hold it up there and do everything. So we'll see how that goes. So I finished cutting the wall out and I brought it out and I got it stood up. I got a C-clamp holding it. I was a little bit off on it, cutting it, measuring it a little bit. So I got a little bit of a gap all the way around, but that's okay because I'm going to actually lay in a piece of 2-inch angle iron behind it all the way around on the inside to give it more strength even yet. Because when the conveyor is dragging the dirt out, it's pushing quite a bit on this back wall. So I'm going to tie this wall in pretty good with the rest of the box. So that's no big deal because we are going to fill that gap anyways. So it looks good. I think I'm going to mark out where the door goes, and I'm going to continue on with the door and get the door all put together and then cut it to match the angles that are there at the bottom, so it all fits perfectly, and then we'll weld her all up and tie her all together, and it'll be done. And I gotta put I got the original lifting loops that I gotta cut off of over there, and I'm going to reattach them to here so that I'll be able to pick it up and carry it up on top of the pile of dirt where it sits and feeds the trommel. So I'm gonna get this back laid on my forks, carry it back in the shop, and continue on with making the door for it. So now I'm going to take the 40-20P plasma cutter, and I'm going to already cut that side. I'm going to cut this side and then cut across the top, and this will be our hole for slide gate to go in. This is 1/4 inch material, brand new stuff. It's clean, cuts real nice. So we'll get cutting here. Oops. All about how steady you can stay. And I'm not very steady. So we got our hole cut out for our slide door, slide gate, whatever you want to call it. And I also nipped the ends off a little bit, so I'm going to take it back out place it back on the back of the hopper and just see if that helped close my gap a little bit, which I think it did, which is fine. That'll work perfect because I've got plenty of sheet on top to hit the square tube. So if that helped close that gap, that'll be great. So I'm gonna go out there and try this again. So I got all my strips of steel cut out for the door. None of this is measured out yet. I'm just laying it out to show you how it's actually going to work. So a piece is going to lay here, and of course I'm going to cut this to match so it matches the slopes of the walls. And then another piece is going to lay over the top of this piece and overlap the door so the door can't come out. I left this a little loose, being we are dealing with dirt. I don't want it to get seized up in there, so I left some room for play so that the dirt will work its way out, and just tap it with a hammer if we have to, knock some dirt out or whatever. So I'm going to weld most of this up, and then I think I'm going to take my magnet base drill and I'm going to drill through these all the way through this plate, these two plates. And I'm going to put probably 3 half-inch bolts just to make sure nothing goes anywhere. Because I'm afraid if I weld out here, it's going to allow this plate to tip. So, and then if I weld here, it's going to allow this one to tip. So if I put the 3 half-inch bolts in there, everything's going to stay solid. I thought about cutting ovals in this and welding through, and I'm just going to just bolt it. I mean, it's not going to be... probably not going to be as cosmetically pretty to bolt it, but maybe it will be. And that way, if something bad ever happens, I can just cut a few stitch welds and take these off, take the bolts out, take them off, versus solid seam and all this and whatnot. So that's how our door is going to work. You can see how it's going to work. Well, here's our door, here's our top plate, here's our side plate, and here's our back wall. So I'm going to get this all measured out exactly how it's supposed to be, and I'm going to get some stuff tacked up, and then probably stitch weld some stuff, and then I'll get the mag drill and do some drilling. We've got everything measured up and laid out, and I clamped it. I mean, we're not building no piano here, but let's at least try to build a pipe organ. So we're going to tack these rails up. Probably help turn the welder on, first of all. Well, I got just some vice grip clamps holding these rails. I don't want them to move. We're going to put some pretty healthy tacks on them. And I see the sheet's got a little bit of a bow to it, so we're going to try to correct that. So we're going to start here at the bottom and then work our way to the top. I'm tacking without a helmet on. I am closing my eyes though, behind my glasses. So don't worry, I'm not directly looking at it. Okay, by me just pushing down on it is enough to take that bow out of that sheet, and we'll be fine. Now remember, we don't want to tack anything on the insides of these because we want our door to slide up and down. Like so. Just like that. Perfect. It's got a little bit of play in it. It's not too tight. Plays just a little bit, which that's fine. I mean, we're not trying to hold water in, we're trying to hold dirt in. So if she's got a little play, that's perfectly fine. So now, what we're going to do is put our side rails on, but I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to put this jack up here. We're going to run it all the way out, and this jack will actually move this door up and down. This is a 5,000 pound jack. So it'll move this door, no problem, I hope. If it don't move this door, we have a major problem down here. So I'm going to get everything put together a little farther, and then we'll take some more video. Okay, so I shut that fan off so it's not so loud because it's cooled down outside. So now that we've got our rails tacked on, our first layer of rails, we're going to move on to our next ones. So our next ones, we're going to overlap. Let me get spatter out of here. We're going to overlap them an inch so that they don't obstruct the actual hole that the material comes out of. So we're going to overlap them just an inch, which that's plenty because that's what the door overlaps. Measure this out real quick. And you can give it a strong inch. Don't think you got to skimp on it. You really dog. Well, see his flat straps bowed just a little bit. Right there is where we need to be. So I'm going to reclamp that. Okay, let's check it again. Good. Okay, now we can tack that one in. Get gloves on real fast here. I'm going to tack it down here. Just a little more. Now I'm going to go up here, hold that bow down. Give it a good tack. And let's give it a good tack in the middle too. Let's go on there. Okay, so now we got good tacks. Them aren't going anywhere. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to do that side first. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to come in here with my magnet base drill and I'm going to drill holes in them. And that way I'll just stitch weld these spots and I'll weld some across the top. And then I know for sure that nothing's going to come apart. Because like I said, I'm worried about it tipping that up a little bit and there's not a good way of welding all three together. So just to simplify things, we'll just put 3 1/2-inch bolts in them, tighten them up with the impact and call it a day. As Dad's strength would say, it's called a day. So anyways, I'm going to do that real quick to that side and then we'll get the mag drill out. Well, now I have it all laid out where I'm going to drill my bolt holes. I've only got a 9/16 annular bit, so it's going to be a 9/16 hole, which will be fine with a 1/2-inch bolt in it. So I'm going to center punch all these so the oil that comes out of this bit doesn't take off my soapstone markings and I lose them all. So I got it all laid out with my little Empire compound square. I really like them things. I've got all 3 sizes now, so kind of collect them. But anyways, I'm going to center punch all these and then we'll get to drilling some holes, and that might be it for this episode. Getting kind of tired. I need to get in the house, get a shower, and get ready for dinner. So see how far I get on this. We'll try to get these holes drilled yet, and we'll get this bolted, and probably be into this episode. And that way this episode's not too long. So anyways, I did notice I was a little off in my measurement. I need to trim the door out just a hair. So no big deal. Freehand fabricating, not going by any plans, just what's in my head. So I got to trim that door out a little bit, and it was just a little bit of a mismeasurement, but that's okay. It's not like we're building a space shuttle here, so just do things as we go. So anyways, I'm going to get these holes drilled and we'll see where we're at. I've got the mag drill set up now. Watch it, it'll suck down. Well, you can't really see it, but you can hear it a little bit. So got the mag drill set up, got the pin in the bit on a center punch hole, got the oil on, we're ready to start drilling. I'm going to let the oil get in there real quick first. You can see it going through the tube. That's the death of these bits, is drilling dry with them. I just thought about something. Good thing I didn't drill all the way through. My fork is directly under there. So I'm going to have to scoot this sheet over a little bit and continue drilling. Let me scoot this over and we'll get back to drilling. Okay, we're scooted over now. The fork is out of the way. I actually had to release the magnet because it was all stuck together and it was stuck to the fork also. So pretty impressive how that magnet works. So let's continue drilling our hole. So I should add, when you're drilling through multiple layers, you'll have to stop and pop this little deal out of metal out of the bit, or else it'll get caught. It's kind of a bear sometimes. There it goes. So you get that little peg out of there, which this is it right here. That right there hits, and then you're not able to drill through the next layer. So we're going to have to stop 3 times in order to get through all this. Okay. We're all the way through now. So now I gotta just do that a few more times. 7 more times and we'll have her done. So it took a little longer than I expected. I only got one side done, but give you an idea what's going on here. I've got some Tough Torque Lawson's Products bolts, 1/2-inch bolts, 2 inches long. I'm gonna be putting in here with nuts, lock washers on the back sides. You're going to tighten them up, and that'll keep all this together and nice and solid. So I think that's going to be it for this episode of Dirt Grain Steel. This episode will be continued. Probably going to finish this side off camera and whatnot, and we'll start the video up again when we start putting the jack on to adjust the door, and then hopefully we'll move on from that to putting it in the back of the spreader box over there. Or not spreader box anymore, because it is a trommel feeder now. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this episode of Dirt Grain Steel, give me a like and a subscribe. And just want to go over some of the tools we used. We used the Forney Easy Weld 140, the Forney 20P plasma cutter, the Evolution cutoff saw, and the DeWalt magnet-based drill are the tools that we used in this video. If you got any questions or comments, let me know in the questions and comments section. And thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. And remember, this one's going to be continued, so make sure you watch. If you're interested in this project, make sure you watch for the next episode of it to come out. So thanks for watching.